Good morning, everyone. Respected Dean of the Academic, Dr. Sanjeev Kumar Gupta, sir, Head of the Department, Professor Vinay Yadav, sir, Dr. Arun Kumar Sharma, sir, faculty members, and my dear students. On this beautiful morning, I, Anurag Bagri, Assistant Professor RNTU, Raisen, is pleased to welcome each and every one of you in today's workshop on skills. Today, on the first day, we are having a workshop on contribution of eco-friendly refrigerants in reducing global warming. First of all, I want to extend my sincere thanks to Dr. Sanjeev Kumar Gupta sir for being our backbone in our endeavor and constantly motivating and inspiring us. Only because of his support, we are able to organize these kinds of workshops. I request Head of the Department, Professor Vinay Yadav sir, to give his valuable thoughts on the occasion.
Uh, good morning to all of you. Myself Vinay Yadav, HUD Mechanical. First of all, I welcome all the participants and our eminent speaker in this today workshop. I hope that this workshop will definitely give proper direction to our research and this contribution of eco-friendly refrigerant in reducing global warming is a very useful topic, and this is very also we see that in the future the use of refrigerant will be definitely increases by day. ठीक है, रेफ्रिजरेंट यूज़ होते हैं एसी में और बड़े बड़े जो रेफ्रिजरेशन प्लांट्स होते हैं, घर में जो फ्रिज होते हैं, और भी कई जगह रेफ्रिजरेंट यूज़ होते हैं, और डे बाय डे इन रेफ्रिजरेंट का उपयोग जो है वो बढ़ता ही जा रहा है। और आप इकोनॉमी में भी देखेंगे तो इनका जो फ्यूचर में जो ग्रोथ है वो लगभग 20% के आसपास है, पर ईयर बढ़ रहा है। तो I hope that you all sincerely listen this speech by our eminent speaker and get the maximum knowledge from this workshop. Thank you. Request Anurag Bagri sir to continue the session.
Thank you, Vinay Yadav sir. Before we get started, let me throw some lights on the purpose of this workshop. Due to the adverse effects on the environment and depletion of ozone layers, this workshop is organized to spread the awareness for the use of eco-friendly refrigerants. As a common man usually ignore about the refrigerant that is circulating inside a refrigerator, the eco-friendly gases do not harm the environment and can be handled safely with care. It does not affect plants and natural life. These refrigerants do not generate any kind of poisonous exhaust fumes that typically affect the natural life on the earth. This can be even used at homes without worrying about the surrounding. And there is many more to know about the eco-friendly refrigerant. Now, before I proceed further, I would like to introduce today's expert, Dr. Arun Kumar Sharma sir. He is Associate Professor in Department of Mechanical Engineering and Head of R&D Department in LIST Bhopal with 20 years of experience. He has done his PhD and MTech from MANIT Bhopal. He has published several books on biodiesels, production, emissions, etc. Now, I would like to start today's workshop by inviting Dr. Arun Kumar Sharma sir on the screen. Sir, please.
Thank you very much, Anurag sir. And first of all, I thank Professor Vijay Yadav sir to give me an opportunity to interact with you on this occasion. And first of all, my sincere and grateful thanks to Dean Sanjeev Gupta sir. So, as today I'm going to speak on the contribution of eco-friendly refrigerants in reducing global warming. So, first of all, throughout the world, it has been global warming is one of the biggest crises that we are facing nowadays. As you have, as each and everyone has observed in recent times, the the drawbacks of this global warming. Take for example, in a few days back, I think at Himachal Pradesh there was a huge slide, and we are observing nowadays a lot of climatic changes that we are incorporating, and many of us has observed that during this COVID-19 time period, during the period of this lockdown time period, there was a complete shutdown. So due to that, there was also an imbalance in the nature that we have observed. Many areas have been receiving greater rainfalls. Some are going completely dry. So now let's begin up with the refrigeration. Refrigeration simply comprises, it includes air conditioning, and which is very necessary, and it's continued to expand worldwide. Its impact on the environment is huge, even if refrigeration technologies can also be a part of solutions for mitigation. And reduction in CO2 emissions and fluorinated gas emissions are challenges to be addressed on an ongoing basis. Now, first of all, we cannot completely eliminate this carbon dioxide and NOx, nitrogen oxides from the environment, because these are the resources that are providing us energy as well as life also. Because of presence of carbon dioxide only in the atmosphere, we are here. We are in a condition to sustain because of the at the beginning of the era, there was ice throughout, so there was no life. So CO2 also plays an important role. Now, refrigeration is necessary for mankind, as the temperature is a magnitude and a key variable in physics, chemistry, and biology, and characterizes the states of matter, liquids, solids, gaseous phase, which is vital for all the living beings. And thanks to our research and development for almost 2 years, refrigeration technologies have progressively led to the providing of good and setting up of the services vital to mankind. Cryogenics. Cryogenics means here these are the sectors that we are using refrigeration. Cryogenics is the air separation for medical uses, cryosurgery, anesthesia, petrochemical refining, steel production, space propulsions, fuels, medical applications, transport and distribution of natural gases or hydrogen, manufacturing of semiconductors, sequestration of carbon dioxide, conservation of species, etc. Other major health issues where this refrigeration plays an important role is the preservation of cells, tissues, organs, embryos, surgery, and operating theaters, manufacturing and transport of drugs and vaccines. And as far as without transportation, the economy of a nation cannot grow. So in transport sector, it also plays an important role. Take for example, that is the air conditioning, vehicles, living areas, integrated systems, heating and cooling with heat pumps, offices and factories, particularly in hot climates, but also for the technologies, that is electronic components, computer technology, and data centers, biotechnology. Means even if we are using many of the programs have been going on online. So our systems means most of these devices and systems are being placed in almost areas where air conditioner is available, so that these systems can work to the greatest efficiency. And as far as food is concerned, I must say the basic need of a human nature is food, clothing, and shelter. In Hindi, we call it as roti, kapda, and makan. So food is also an important sector where the refrigeration plays an important role. Food is here refrigeration is used in manufacturing, texturation, formulation, freezing, drying, fermentation, concentration, and separation. Storage transport means take for example, we are supplying milk from one place to another. Commercialization purpose we are also using. Domestic refrigerators. Domestic refrigerators means the refrigerators that we are using at our home to prevent the food from spoiling. Energy and environment applications are concerned. So cryopreservation of genetic resources, capture and undergo storage of carbon dioxide, heat pumps, and new energies. So as far as refrigeration and air conditioning impact on the environment is concerned, so on the stratospheric ozone layer, more than 90% of the refrigeration equipment relies on the vapor compression using refrigerants, and that will is likely to change in near future. Chlorinated refrigerants, take for example fluorocarbons, and lesser extent hydrofluorocarbons, contribute to the depletion of stratospheric zone if released into the atmosphere due to equipment leakage, or if refrigerants are not properly recovered when disposal of the equipment takes place. So this is we are talking about the leakage. It means if a refrigerant is particularly releases into the atmosphere, as far as the heat that is being generated while all these cycles are being performed, are also one of the concerns in increasing global warming. And CFCs and HCFCs are gradually being phased out thanks to Montreal Protocol. So these protocols actually are nothing. These are the regular meetings and of all the nations, which are continuing on regular basis. Take for example, you might have also heard of Kyoto Protocol since in from 1990s onwards. Kyoto Protocol is being followed. Kyoto Protocol is nothing but Kyoto is a city in Japan, and protocol means the treaties and the legislative documents those have been signed for the protection of the environment. So current measures of the ozone layer shows overall stability and probable recovery of the previous levels around 2060. They are often replaced by hydrofluorocarbons, which do not deplete the ozone layer but are potent greenhouse gases, as so are HCFCs. When released into atmosphere, chlorofluorocarbons were also greenhouse gases, and their global warming potential was much higher. The impact of the Montreal Protocol is thus also positive regarding global warming. So this is about Montreal Protocol. Montreal Protocol has led to great progress in phasing out of the important ozone depleting substances, including CFCs, HCFCs, halogens, and a number of other chemicals containing chlorine and bromine. The protocol is working as extended and expected. The depletion of the stratospheric ozone layer has been curtailed, and the ozone layer is expected to recover to its 1980 levels during this century. As the whole of the world is committed, that you might have heard about 2DC. 2DC is nothing but it is the 2 degree centigrade program. Means we are just trying to prohibit the temperature, or we are just trying to stop global warming, or we are trying to reduce the temperatures so that the overall temperature of the earth does not increase by 2 degrees centigrade by the end of this century. Because in case if such thing happens, I think most of us will be in biggest of the troubles. So it has got the protocol has got merit attentions also. As a result of phasing and ozone depleting substances, hydrofluorocarbons have been introduced as replacement in many applications and are now finding their ways to the atmosphere. The HCF hydrofluorocarbons are very significantly in their ability to influence climate, whereas some have low global warming potentials of less than 20. Others are potent greenhouse gases with global warming potentials of thousands to tens of thousands. Given that the fact that the global warming potential of the current mix of hydrofluorocarbons is about 1600, there is concern that HCFCs should significantly influence climate in future and if they continue to increase. So this is the uh, graph which shows if the chlorine content of the atmosphere means if it just goes out of control. So you can see the blue line that is that it will be reaching about 12 parts per billion by the end of 2030. And if this particular phase out is being carried out, so it may be curtailed down, which will be very helpful for us. Now, as far as global greenhouse gases emissions are concerned by the various economic sectors, means these are the sectors that we generally are related to, means each or everyone is being we need all these sectors for our economic growth. Take for example electricity and heat production, agriculture, forestry and other land uses, buildings, transportation, industry, and other energy. And I think refrigerant is plays an important role in every aspect of this particular figure that is being shown. So this is about the sorry, excuse me. This is about the whole global status or standard. So the energy used in industries are around about 24.2%. So this energy used in industry comprises of iron and steel, chemicals and petrochemicals, food and tobacco, paper and pulp, machinery, and other industries. And this, as far as transport is concerned, transport sector comprises of road transport, aviation, and shipping. So this almost leads to 60.2%. And now come on to the residential sector. Residential sector means energy used in the buildings, that is growing up to 17.5%, its present status. So now commercially it is 6.6 and residential purpose buildings are 10.9%. And we are having unlocated, these are the remaining sectors, that is agriculture and forestry is also using, and means these are the contributions that are being done by all the sectors at present. So these are some gas emissions, these direct fluorinated gas emissions. These direct emissions have been reduced considerably since 1987. Now, however, we need to act in order to avoid a new increase. That is setup of reliable fluorinated refrigerant recovery of all the world, scrapping of equipments, reducing leakage through design proper maintenance, training, certificates of technicians and plants. This is a name, for instance, of the F-gas, fluorine gas regulations in the European Union, which will soon be reviewed. Even before the regulation, the leakage rate, which was about 30% in 1980s, is now averages about 5 to 10%. Reducing refrigerant charge, that is secondary loops, microchannels, technology, and heat exchangers. Thus, the refrigerant emissions per refrigeration unit with the same capacity. It is also a solution which avoids safety problems when using low global warming potential refrigerants. Promotion of low global warming refrigerants, especially natural refrigerants, that is ammonia, carbon dioxide, hydrocarbon, and water, which already enables efficient solutions to be developed for most of the applications. Even if technical solutions were often initially developed in developed countries and in cold climates, applications also exist in China, India, and Australia. Taxing or banning of certain global warming potentials in refrigerants in certain applications, that is mobile air conditioning regulation in Europe or taxes in certain European countries, promoting alternative solutions. As my colleagues, most of the colleagues, those who have been using four-wheelers, they might have seen that every 10 years, there is some change in the refrigerant. Means some new technology is being incorporated, which is beneficial for us as well as for the environment. The coefficient of performance refrigeration systems has already been improved. For instance, in commercial refrigeration, it was about 2.5 in 1960, and it is now about 4. New refrigerator used 4 times less energy in 2008. These are the data that is about till 2011. And the next meeting of this which was scheduled this year, means last year was being postponed because of the COVID. So it is likely to take in this year. The energy labeling can help. Now, these are some factors which may help us in lowering down excuse me just. Energy labeling can help. Such policies already exist in the domestic refrigerators in many countries. For instance, average energy saving of 15% have been achieved in new refrigerators within view. Now, talking about the indirect carbon dioxide emissions. So, in the slide, you can see the transport refrigeration shall be considered only the refrigeration equipments or the whole vehicle comprising insulation, motorization. Insulation must also be improved. This is obvious for building. Many incentive measures already have been taken in order to encourage people to better insulate houses and apartments. However, this can also be achieved in refrigerated transport and in commercial refrigeration. For instance, the design of display cabinets way too open during the day, covered at night, are a major source of energy savings. New technologies such as phase change material can improve insulation in buildings. General policies on energy production and uses certainly have huge impacts on energy consumption of refrigeration equipments, integrated systems, trigeneration, heating, cooling, and electricity production in a whole system. The use of renewables in electricity production. Regulations on safety or noise could also have indirect impacts. That is, the use of liquefied nitrogen or carbon dioxide refrigeration is the heart of many equipments and uses even regulations on subjects which are not related to refrigeration and air conditioning could have indirect impacts on electricity and energy consumption. So this is the climate warming effects of using hydrofluorocarbons. It means if hydrofluorocarbons have been constantly used, then this is the scenario that we are going to obtain. Means the baseline is the red area that is showing, and Montreal Protocol amendment proposals, if India is going to follow, so they will be reaching up to that standard. So these are the various things that we are doing. Now, as far as refrigerants and their ozone depleting and global warming potential are concerned, so this slide shows that the chlorofluorocarbons and their numbers have been stated against them, and their IUPAC chemical names are also mentioned. Their atmospheric lifetime period in years and their global warming potential per 100 years are also being mentioned in this slide. So now the major categories of refrigerants that are being used after coming so far. So chlorofluorocarbons are compounds consisting of fluorine and carbon atoms. They are used in making aerosol sprays, blowing agents for foam and packaging materials, as solvents and as refrigerants due to their ODP, that is ozone depletion potential, and high global warming potential. They are considered non-eco-friendly refrigerant gases. Their examples have been cited, that is refrigerant 1,1 and 1,2. This is about hydrofluorocarbons. And hydrofluorocarbons are compounds consisting of hydrogen, chlorine, fluorine, and carbon atoms. HCFC refrigerants have medium um, ozone depletion potential and medium to high global warming potential. Often they are being often used in refrigerant and air conditioning equipments. These are also not environment friendly refrigerant gases, and in most countries are either phased out completely or undergoing phase out. So these are the examples. If those are being replaced, it means these are the refrigerants that are being stopped or they are not being used further. This is about hydrofluorocarbons.
Sir, so sorry for the interruption. Please maximize your screen.
G.
Please maximize your screen, sir.
Okay, sir.
Sorry for the interruption, sir.
So here we work with hydrofluorocarbons. A combination of fluorinated hydrocarbons have zero ozone depletion potential and medium to high global warming potential, thus offering a more environment friendly alternative to chlorofluorocarbons and um, fluorocarbons. So HCFCs can contribute to global warming but do not affect the ozone layer directly. These are the examples of some refrigerants, that is R32 and R1348. Now, hydrofluoroolefins. So hydrofluoroolefins comprises of hydrogen, fluorine, and carbon atoms connected by a single bond between the atoms. HFO refrigerants have zero oxygen depletion potential and comparatively very low global warming potential, and are currently considered as the most eco-friendly refrigerants available. So now these are replacing the HCFCs, and HFCs are chemically synthesized. They do not exist as compound naturally, as their medium to high ozone depletion potential and global warming potential is considerably detrimental to the environment, and they are being phased out under the Montreal Protocol 1987. HFOs are synthetically made, unsaturated, with no ozone depletion potential and low global warming potential, resulting in the lowest adverse effect on the environment and thus are eco-friendly refrigerant gases. Natural refrigerants have zero ODP and extremely low global warming potential, due to which they are ideal replacements for the CFCs. Now there are naturally occurring substances like CO2, ammonia, water, and air. They can be hydrocarbons as well: propane, isobutane, butene, propene, and or propylene. So this is about how the changes or the eras where we have been using the particular refrigerants. So the chlorofluorocarbons were used from 1930s to 1990s. In 1990s, HCFCs came, and after that, in 2000, HFC came. Now HFOs are being used. So these are their oxygen, this ozone depletion potential and global warming potentials. So how eco-friendly gases can affect environment? Eco-friendly gases are the least detrimental to the environment. On combustion, these gases produce 45% lesser carbon dioxide as compared to those produced by combusting other resources. Benefits of eco-friendly gases are recycling or disposal after their usage in cooling system is comparatively easier than CFCs, HCFCs, and HFCs. These gases are typically more energy efficient than fluorinated gases. Eco-friendly gases can be used in almost all refrigeration and air conditioning applications. These refrigerants are not patented by the chemical industry and are cheaper than HCFCs. These gases do not harm the environment and can be handled safely with care. These gases can be obtained as byproducts from other processes. It is easier to make them readily available if proper distribution structures can be established. So now this is an example of a foreign agency that is working in collaborations with Chemour refrigerants, and they have been using these zero ODP and low global warming potential gases. So these are some gases that are being used. Now, as far as refrigerants with a low global Opteon, this is HFO 1234YF. It has got a low global warming potential gas that can replace existing HFC 134A automotive air conditioning systems with minimal retrofitting. And it has an improved performance and lower indirect contribution to climate change versus HFC. Therefore, they are being used in this transport system. Now, this is another example of a refrigerant. It is a non-ozone depleting, low potential, global warming potential. HFO is replacement for this particular that has been R404A and R507 in new equipments and retrofits of existing systems. It offers a near match to the compressor, discharge temperature, and the mass flow rate of R404A and R507. Eliminating the need of the TXV adjustment, it is suitable for commercial refrigerations and chillers. Its other features are it has got a low global warming potential, 51% reduction compared to R404A and R507, approved and adopted by major equipment manufacturers. This is another HFO refrigerant that is being replaced, used as a replacement for R123 in low pressure centrifugal chillers. And R514A is a non-flammable azeotropic refrigerant blend suitable for new systems offering excellent capacity and energy efficiency to match to R123. It can be used in stationary air conditioning. This is another refrigerant that is an azeotropic refrigerant suitable for new retrofit of existing systems offering excellent capacity and energy efficiency matched to R134A. Its other features, as you can see, that it has a low global warming potential, 56% reduction compared to of R134. This is another refrigerant which is being, so these are the refrigerants that we have been using as article. Now I'm coming again back to Montreal Protocol, where these developing countries whose annual per capita consumption of the controlled substances is below the limits, and its atmospheric lifetime time it takes for 67% of the molecules to be removed from the atmosphere in the absence of emissions. Means these are the time periods and durations in which the pollutions that have been created or generated can be removed from the emissions. So that is how CFCs have been completely phased out by Montreal Protocol. Transitional substitutes for CFC being phased out by Montreal Protocol, and HFCs substitutes for CFC substitutes for CFS, and they are further being changed to that earlier that I've discussed to HFOs. So now these are the methods of reducing the influence of high global warming potentials, that is HFCs, on climate. So now oxygen depletion, ODS replacements for refrigeration and air conditioning equipments, foam products and other applications. These are alternative methods and processes that are being usually preferred nowadays. These are some commercial examples that are being utilized. So these are the examples of sectors where commonly used refrigerants, they are being used. Now against them in the middle column, you can see the examples of low global warming potentials used commercial in specific applications are being stated. Now, and in the last one, these are the examples of alternative under development. Means these are being developed and which soon will be replacing the present systems that we are using. And this is about the aerosol sectors, means the examples of low global warming alternatives used commercially in specific applications. So these are foam products, medical aerosols, fire protections. These are the global warming, means these have got a higher global warming potentials. This which we are seeing onto this extreme left, and in the center you can see their examples, and in the last column you can see these are being under development for their replacement. So this is about the use of refrigerants in new installations annually, means industrialized countries. Examples of alternatives are being stated against the various sectors that are there: industrial refrigeration, industrial air conditioning systems, domestic refrigerators, foam in domestic refrigerators. These are the examples of alternatives, and this is the global total percentage. Now alternates for the refrigerators, about 104 million domestic refrigerators and freezers are produced annually. Each unit contains 20 to 250 grams of HFC refrigerant and up to 1 kg of HFC. Blowing agent in the insulating foams. When CFCs were being phased out in 1990s, the hydrocarbon technology was developed for domestic refrigerators to produce a low global warming potential alternatives to ODCs, ODSs and HFCs. The use of hydrocarbons has grown to about 36% of the global market, and it is expected to reach about 75%. And this is these are the details of the small air conditioning units that are being produced in the world. So their production commenced in China in 2011, and units mainly exported to Europe. And at present, these hydrocarbon air conditioning units have a highly energy efficiency rating and employs sophisticated safety measures. This gain is illustrated by the calculation that switching the refrigerants in 1,80,000 units would prevent 5,60,000 tons of CO2 equivalent of direct emissions during the life cycles of the units. So these are some technical developments. Globally, the air conditioning system in all the new passenger cars have been transitioned from CFC12 to FC134A. The refrigerant charge typically varies from 0.4 to 1.2 kg per vehicle and in total account for 24% of the global warming potential. HFC consumption and 60% of global HFC refrigerant emissions and a life cycle climate performance tool has been developed for comparing the direct and indirect carbon emissions of refrigerants for vehicles. This is how the production of the refrigerants have been in the past. Now these are the areas where we can utilize, we can reduce the global means that we can change the refrigerants that are used at present. Take for example supermarkets. So this is an example. These have been cited by these authors or agencies. About 2,000 supermarket premises in Europe has installed low global warming potential refrigeration systems comprising of about 2,000 carbon dioxide systems. And this is about the food and beverages companies. These are some details that have been given by Lingard in 2011. A food manufacturer has placed more than 8 lakh hydrocarbons ice cream freezers cabinet in Europe, Latin America, and Asia. Long-term trials confirm that they use less energy than high global warming potential cabinets. So consumer goods manufacturers and retailers has pledged to begin phasing out of HFC refrigerants in 2015. And it is because of the technology transformation that takes place. So these are some issues, means the lack of effective and suitable alternatives in specific sectors. Take for example, for a number of applications, low global warming potential alternatives are not suitable at present. Examples comprises of spray foams in situations where it is difficulty to apply safety standards. Asthma inhalers for specific groups of patients who are unable to use dry powders inhalers, and air conditioning and fire protection systems in specific situations in other cases. So these are their most probable solutions that have been given. And this is another example of flammability and toxicity. Means some alternatives, that is water and inert gases, are innocuous and generally safe to handle, while other raise safety issues. So these have been the issues, and these have been their implementations. And this is about energy consumption and life cycle carbon emission issues. So at present, the thermal performance of alternative foam system is lower than that of the typical HFC systems in some applications. The energy efficiency of alternative refrigeration in certain applications is not as high as conventional HFC systems. So these are some potentials that have been cited, and these are issues. And this is about the generation principle means fuel you are using of 100% and heat loss is 30%, electricity 30%, heat release is 55%, and after that they are providing you cooling. And this is the conclusion. Refrigeration equipments must be adapted to the global warming challenges. It needs a long-term potential. The current phases of HCFCs, even if it requires a huge efforts on the part of the refrigeration sectors, provide an opportunity to design new equipments using renewable as energy sources and using technologies with good energy efficiency. And these are some references that I have cited from where I have collected all these data. So here I just finishes up with this conclusion. Any question or queries?
Thank you, Dr. Arun Kumar Sharma, sir. It's a wonderful and a learning session for all. Every participant had enjoyed this session.
Thank you, sir.
Now move to the next session for queries. If anyone has any queries, they can ask directly to the sir. Anyone?
Good afternoon, all of you. Audible, sir? Am I audible, sir?
Yes, sir, you are.
Sir, good afternoon, all of you. Sir, I have a question for you. Exactly what eco-friendly refrigerants are? Exactly what eco-friendly refrigerants are, and how it is better than other refrigerants in terms of efficiency?
Sir, please
Actually,
ask the question.
as far as eco-friendly word is concerned, eco-friendly means whatever things that we are using in the ecosystem. That means if we just talk about the ecosystem comprises of living beings. There are non-living things. Each and everything is present in that particular ecosystem. So eco-friendly means it is not that case that they will not be uh, harming, but they would be producing means they will be less harmful as compared to the present ones. Take for example, eco-friendly vehicles. In vehicles, we are using refrigerants. So the refrigerants that were used earlier means you can say that by 10 years back, the refrigerants that were being used in four-wheelers have been replaced by some new ones, and they are being prepared in the labs. So they have got their own potential. So eco-friendly means we are on our behalf. It's our moral responsibility and duty to protect the environment, and we shall have to follow various obligations of the international agencies. We are compelled to that. So that is the word about eco-friendly. And as far as refrigerants are concerned, uh, as the as we all have observed, the purchasing power of a human being has increased up to a greater extent. Earlier, आदमी मतलब people can afford जो जैसा रहता था कि they used to manage with one car. Nowadays what happens? If there are 5 members in a family, most probably we observe that they have 2 to 3 4-wheelers. ठीक है? And nowadays, so means those are using the refrigerants. So मतलब जितने number of vehicles are increasing, so those are a great contributor in global warming. Another thing that although I would like to hear a new word over here, that is green buildings. Green buildings you might have heard about. green buildings are being promoted nowadays. It is by the LEED, that is LEED is the LEED certification is in USA, and here in India we are having that. As far as Indian agency is concerned, that is I think it is Terra. I'm just not calling her Terry. Sorry, that is Terry. Terry agency is looking up the constructional part. So means they are developing the norms where the green buildings are very much in existence. Green buildings does not mean we are going to have a green culture over there. It means we will have green parks and all those things. It is simply green building is a concept where we are using this all the waste that is being generated in that building is being recycled and reused. So all those buildings will be, because as far as new constructions are concerned, so whenever we are having some new constructions, तो वहां पर जाकर के क्या होता है कि there are some new norms which have been continuously, जो अपना ये एजेंसी है, that is TERI, और इसके बाद में ग्रह है. These are the two agencies of Indian government कि जो इन सब चीजों के साथ में देख रहे हैं. क्योंकि all these buildings will be air conditioned only. Means हम नए रेफ्रिजरेंट्स वगैरह जो भी चीज एग्जिस्टेंस में लेकर के आ रहे हैं, दे विल बी, मतलब इन चीजों का जो यूज है वो काफी बहुत ज्यादा यूज होना है. सो रेफ्रिजरेशन विल, एज फार एज इंडिया इज कंसर्न, आपको पता है कि हमारी जो कंट्री है दैट इज कंसिडर्ड अमंग द वार्म नेशंस. तो एक्चुअली में जो जितना भी पोल्यूशन था, एनवायरमेंटल पोल्यूशन, क्योंकि सबसे ज्यादा बेसिक अगर हम अमेरिकन कंट्रीज और यूरोपियन कंट्रीज के बारे में बात करेंगे तो ऑल दोज आर वेरी कोल्ड एरियाज. सो देयर दे नीड देयर ईच, मतलब उनके यहाँ पे हर एक चीज एयर कंडीशन. तो एयर कंडीशन मीन्स इन ऑर्डर टू, वहाँ पे उनके लिए सर्वाइवल के लिए जरूरत है. वहाँ पे एक इंडिया में इट इज बीइंग यूज्ड एज स्टेटस ऑल्सो. सो मीन्स इन सब चीजों के जो रिप्लेसमेंट है रेफ्रिजरेंट्स के, जो ये HFOs के बारे में आपने बताया था, तो ये HFOs के यूज से जो नंबर ऑफ बिल्डिंग्स इंक्रीज होंगे एंड द नंबर ऑफ जो अपने HVAC सिस्टम्स है वो इंक्रीज होंगे. तो इसलिए हम लोगों को लिए जो ये इको फ्रेंडली वर्ल्ड जो है, इको फ्रेंडली रेफ्रिजरेंट्स needs to be used for our existence. हम अपने existence के बारे में.
Sir, I have one question, sir.
जी.
I have a question in the chat box from Rohit Kumar Thakur. He is asking how these refrigerants affects human health.
Human health.
Yeah.
Yeah, as I think when I had just started discussion, so in one of the slides, I think in the beginning, I had already said there are many जो आपके respiratory problems हैं, have been observed while using such type of refrigerants जो अभी तक पहले भी use करते थे. So they are being helpful, मतलब they have developed a sort of asthmas, और ये सारी problems काफी बहुत ज्यादा लोगों के अंदर हेल्थ में चेंजेस में आती हैं. और इसके अलावा फिर जो आप यहाँ पर अभी आपने देखा कि ड्यूरिंग द कोविड जो भी मैक्सिमम हमें मेरे ख्याल से ये ICUs में रेफ्रिजरेंट्स वगैरह और इन सब चीज़ों की बहुत ज़्यादा वी वर डेस्परेटली नीडिंग द सिस्टम्स. तो वहाँ पर भी बहुत सारे लोगों को दे आर ससेप्टेबल टू दैट पर्टिकुलर जो भी रेफ्रिजरेशन वहाँ पे हो रहा है, जो भी पर्टिकुलर गैस है या जो भी वहाँ से वो चीज़ आ रही है, तो बिकॉज इट इज नॉट, तो उसके भी एडवर्स इफेक्ट्स देखने के लिए आए। तो ह्यूमन हेल्थ को देखते हुए और ये वाली सारी चीजें वंस द हेल्थ वंस दैट जो ये अपना क्या कहेंगे कि अगर इनहेल हम किसी भी चीज को करते हैं तो वो चीज हमारे लंग्स में जाकर के इट इज अफेक्टिंग आवर लंग्स एंड आवर लंग्स इज सेंडिंग, मतलब जो ऑक्सीजनेटेड ब्लड है दैट इज बीइंग दैट पासेस थ्रू ब्रेन। तो जब ब्रेन वगैरह से भी जाता है तो ये बहुत सारी और दूसरी प्रॉब्लम्स भी जनरेट करते हैं। So therefore these earlier used refrigerants needs to be changed.
Sir, one more question from my side, sir. As we know, sir, these eco-friendly refrigerants are beneficial for us. So, is there any government policies to promote these eco-friendly refrigerants?
Government policies that's what I have been saying कि मैंने यहाँ पे सब अभी इससे पहले वाले क्वेश्चन में I have used the word tariff. So जो भी अपनी renewable energy, Ministry of Renewable Energy is looking up all these things कि जो भी चीजें मार्केट में नई चीजें आती हैं, उसका सबसे बड़ा एग्जांपल मैं आपको बताता हूँ कि the oldest model of that Maruti 800 has been completely removed from the market. वो सारी चीजें इसीलिए हुई है कि वो उस पर्टिकुलर सिस्टम के साथ में अगर उसके इंजन और उसकी जो बिल्ट था उसके साथ में अगर हम ज्यादा चेंजेस करते तो वुड हैव बीन वेरी कॉस्टली। तो उन सब चीजों से बेटर है कि जो जितनी भी नई इक्विपमेंट्स एंड डिवाइसेस हैं दे आर परफॉर्मिंग एंड टेस्टिंग। तो यहाँ पे सबसे बड़ी चीज है कि जब उन चीजों को टेस्ट करने के बाद में व्हेन दे आर सेलिंग इट टू द पर्टिकुलर कंज्यूमर, तो वहां पर मेनी सर्टिफिकेशंस नीड्स टू बी गिवन। मींस कि यहाँ पर हम एक चीज को ये तो सोच लेते हैं कि सब वी आर यूजिंग, सब इलेक्ट्रिसिटी है, पंखा चल रहा है, एसी है, ये वाली सारी चीजें चल रही हैं। बट अल्टीमेटली जब आपका जब कार ड्राइव कर रहे होते हैं, व्हेन यू आर ड्राइविंग अ कार और यू आर using a AC, you are using the electricity. So from where our India is generating electricity? In India, abhi bhi still we are more or less dependent upon the thermal power stations. तो ये वाली सारी चीजें। तो इसके बाद में जो ये मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी है या BEE जिसको पर बोले ब्यूरो ऑफ एनर्जी एफिशिएंसी, ब्यूरो ऑफ एनर्जी एफिशिएंसी, ये अपनी रेटिंग्स देता है। उसके अकॉर्डिंगली दे टेस्ट द डिवाइसेस एंड पैरामीटर्स ऑन देयर, उन पैरामीटर्स पे टेस्ट करने के बाद में दे आर सेलिंग इट टू द कंज्यूमर्स। तो आप जब मार्केट में जाते होंगे तो यू माइट हैव सीन अ पर्टिकुलर ऑब्जेक्ट विद प्रोडक्ट विद 3-star रेटिंग और 5-star रेटिंग। सो इट all is related to how much energy they are consuming. Means if they are consuming less energy and they are working efficiently, so in indirect way they are using reducing that global warming. Main aim is to reduce global warming. Each and everything, each and every policy in India that we are going to observe, we have been observing since last 5 years, or we are going to observe in the next 10 years, will be in accordance with that. Therefore, the government ने यहाँ पर जाकर के इलेक्ट्रिसिटी कार्स, व्हीकल्स और ये वाली सारी चीजें काफी यूज की।
Got it, sir.
तो ये सारी चीजें।
Thank you, sir. Thank you for answering the queries.
Thank you very much.
Now, I would like to invite Professor Vijay Bhan Tinker, sir, to propose his votes of thank. Sir.
Can you audible here?
Yes, sir. I am audible. First of all, I am really sorry कि I couldn't connect on time because of जो मेरा डिपार्टमेंट में जो सिस्टम था, that was there some internet issues were there. तो अब मैं I had to come to my computer department section. तो वहाँ से मैंने फिर आकर के इसको ऑपरेट किया। I am really apologize for the delay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, Anurag, sir. Once again, good afternoon, everyone. I am Vijay Bhadenkar, Assistant Professor in RM2, and I am here to present the vote of thanks for today's workshop. I would like to thank today's guest, Dr. Arun Kumar Sharma, sir, for visiting and enlightening us with their knowledge. Today's workshop was full of knowledge and interesting things. It gave deep insight into the topic and also revealed some interesting facts. I am pretty sure the prestigious knowledge that Dr. Arun Kumar Sharma sir gave us will definitely help us in our studies and futures. Once
Thank you, sir.
again, I would like to thank Dr. Arun Kumar Sharma for sir for taking out time from their busy schedule and enlightening us with the knowledge. Thank you so much.
Once again I thank HOD sir
Thank you, sir.
and
Thank you very much.
Professor Vinay Yadav sir and um, Dean Academics, that is Sanjeev Kumar Gupta sir, for providing me an opportunity and platform to interact with you all. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
At last, there is a reminder that tomorrow on second day we will start the workshop on at 11 o'clock morning. Please register and join. There is a separate link for tomorrow's workshop. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good day, sir.